Alright, we are live as of right now on YouTube. Here we are back for a second music live stream. And as soon as I get the link out there, we will get to it. So I put out to have a vote for what I should work on this episode. And I got an equal amount of votes for both. I got 2 votes for the sax trio, and I got 2 votes for working on this trumpet solo I've been working on live. So I'm just going to do a little bit of both today. Just a little bit of both, and it'll be good time. Trumpet solo is already getting decently long. It's already around 6.5 minutes long. It's not entirely finished, but it's getting there. Adding the link now. Alright, here we go. So we're going to start with the sax trio first, because that's what I got to vote for first, was the sax trio. So we're going to spend about 20 minutes on the sax trio and about 20 minutes on the trumpet solo today. Go for 40 minutes. So let's set a 20-minute timer. I really want to make sure that they each get equal attention here. Alright, so just to restart, we're just going to recap it, listen to it, refresh where we were. Alright, now I actually did want to try something else with this part here in the saxophone, because I was on the way home from getting coffee this morning and I was singing this part to myself all alone in the car, because I'm strange like that, and I thought about it like a little bit differently. So it starts the same. It would have, let's see, it would have all the way to there the same, but then the rest of this is just straight 16th notes. It blows through this 8th note, and it's just gonna be a 16th note pattern. So let me go ahead and put that part on solo. Let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, I think that's right. Let's hear it in context with the other parts now. Yes. Alright, now after they run around like that for a little bit, I think it's time we go back to some sort of chord section like we had here, but I want to make it different because it happens again, so it needs to be different somehow. Need to add some flavor. So I'm thinking instead of it being these huge chords, big and loud, we could have it be sort of like the same thing, but instead of really loud, it could be really soft. And instead of being super accented, it can be really long and flowy. And maybe instead of being in 7/8, it can go to 4/4. So instead of this really kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess jammy rhythm. It's jamming, you know, da 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 da. It'll go to something simpler like da 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 da. Kind of slow the pace down, and that could maybe lead into some sort of slower section at some point. So here, 4/4. And we want it to be a big, maybe not pianissimo, maybe piano. Now the trick is coming up with chords. So both of our lower two parts end on an F natural, and our higher part here ends on a D natural. So thinking about some things we can do with that, we could go to, we could have the crucial notes of an F minor 7. We could have F, and then A flat, and then E flat. But this will be the quarter note. And I hear this going up to an E natural. And then maybe this up to a G flat. Maybe I'll just bring it up a half step. Yeah, I could just see that being a big half step slide. And this part will be kind of weird. Da, 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 da. So then it'll be the same chord but inverted, I guess. And then that would cross over though, so trying to keep it the same chord until we get here. I want it to be E major. No, I want it to be C major, I'm sorry. Oh, that's an F, sorry. I did kind of like it though. And then maybe it could happen again and go to C major that time. So the first time it'd be sort of an F major 7, I guess. So we kind of have this, I guess it's a B flat Lydian sound, which I guess would be the corresponding mode to Dorian. They're parallel. So I honestly can't say I'm too surprised. They share a key signature, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And then we could switch to a Lydian dominant sound and go to the flat 7 major chord. Does a saxophone go down to a low E flat? I mean, they're in E flat, that would make sense. Yes, that's probably the bottom note though. No, they can go to a low D. That's interesting. Alright. Don't even have a low E flat today. I don't know what's up with that. It'd be this one. Or would it be? Yeah, it would be this one. Check that out. That's sick. Alright, so let's check it out in transition and make sure that works okay. Yeah, I think that works fine. That could be interesting too. Alternatively, check this out. We could go to G flat major, just descending in whole steps. But then let's maybe make this B flat and this D flat, kind of get it out of the pits. Right, but I want it to go back to the, so these need to be quarters too. Back to our motif, da da da. Real nice and easy. Maybe this time these can stay whole notes, so I can pull a trick on them. I guess just whole notes then. I thought that would sound smoother than it did. And then I hear something kind of, I don't know if y'all like this, but I know I will. No, I need it should be A sharp. Keeps going to B flat. No. No, that wasn't it either. Gosh. No. Okay, so E needs to be in the bottom. I need G sharp. D. I think. Yes! There's the money. Alright, need to add on some measures. Let's just say 20. We'll probably fill that up. Probably not today. We've only got 7 minutes left for this. And then this could slide up and half steps like before. So I need to make all of these quarter notes. So I'm used to doing chords and whole notes primarily. We learning today. Let's see, how should that be? A. Yeah, so it should be E flat. Use the 7 of F sharp. Oh, these need to be half notes. A sharp. Yeah. That's cool. And then I could see it sort of doing something like this. Repeat that same measure, and this time it does the same thing, but it does it backwards. Not backwards in rhythm, though. Keeps the same rhythm. Yeah, and I could also see these popping out a bit and being accented. Oops, there we go. Dynamic. So let's just go with a nice forte. See what I mean? I talked about this last time, about it being a little problematic and difficult to work with sometimes. And then back to piano. Oops. Come on. There we go. You also have to make sure, because there's only you have to place it really close to the staff for it to register in the right place. So it ends up looking weird. You end up having to have 2 copies of the score. One that has a good MIDI, and then one that looks clean. But that's okay. Everyone says I should get Finale, but honestly I'm just so used to MuseScore at this point that I honestly feel like that would be a pointless use of money, because I can do the same things, I think, for the most part. With this, I can certainly do everything that I want to do right now. Good, good. Just making sure my mic's on, because last time I accidentally turned it off for around 3 minutes by accident, because these aren't my headphones, they're my dad's, because mine broke, and I haven't replaced them yet. So I've been borrowing my dad's headphones, because they also have a really good mic, and I accidentally pressed the button that turns them off last time. I need to stop talking and work on this trio. And maybe here's where it can snap back to 7/8. I know you guys can't see a lot of these interface options too, because the way my recording is working is only recording this window, and a lot of those interface options are in different windows. See, like I can pull this off and it's in a different window now, so I don't think you guys can see that, but I'm moving it around my screen. You can probably see the cursor until I put it back over there. I wish there was I wonder if I can attach the master palette instead of the normal palette where I get the 7/8. Nope, that window does not attach like just the normal palettes do, which is unfortunate, because the master palette has a lot of options. You can create your own time signatures and whatnot, because it only gives you a handful. Alright. So then... So I'm trying to think here. What is E the minor third of? C sharp? Yeah, C sharp Dorian and D flat Dorian are both nightmares, so we're not going down that hole. I'm trying to think about where to go now. Where is it telling me to go? Where are you going? I can't really think of anything at the moment, so let's go back and do some notation things here. Basic things. Adding the articulations I want. Even though there's really no difference on the MIDI, this is a time saver when you reach the copy of the score you need for looking nice, not sounding nice. So I want each of these 3 sets of notes to be slurred. I know that's technically not super great notation, but I'll have to ask a saxophone player how they would write that, what I'm thinking of, because I'm a trombone player, so we can't slur the same way that normal instruments do by just moving their buttons. Do I want this note slurred? Absolutely. Alright, that was the timer. I'm just going to go ahead and add that slur quick, and we'll hop on over to the trumpet solo. Let me also reset the timer. Awesome. Alright, so I think we made a lot of progress here today. Not nearly as much as maybe I wanted to. It was only a few measures, but that's okay. So let me open the trumpet solo. Here we go. And you guys have actually never heard any of this before. I've not worked on any of this on the channel yet. So actually, while I go take care of a couple of things, I'm going to let it play, and then I'll come back and start the timer for us to start. Because I don't want to have 6 minutes taken out of our working time just for you guys to listen to what I have so far. So I will be right back. Alright, I actually cut it off there, because the next section I have prepared a little bit, but it's not, there's no piano yet, it's not thought out at all. So, that's where I left off when I was working on it on my own just yesterday, when I got the idea to possibly stream it, me working on it. So, I was actually back a little of the way through, and I was listening to this section here. I thought it was a little bit too slow, but I do want that tempo here. I want it to definitely be that slow, kind of like moving through molasses, I guess is the idea. So we'll just go ahead, make an identical, oh, what the hell? It's not working correctly. Oh, you know what? I bet I know why. There we go. I accidentally selected the whole measure, so for every element that there is on this measure, it made a tempo marking. The risks of not paying attention to what you're doing. Well, let's see. I probably want this to be... Let's see how 72 feels. Is that seriously any faster than it was? What's going on? For some reason, whenever I type in 72, it reads 60 on this panel. Oh, now it doesn't. Now it does. That's so weird. Why? Okay, so when I type in 60, it's at 72 on this play panel here. Here, I want to show you guys that. That's so weird. So, as you can see, I have 60 there. If I go to my recording software here, window capture. Oh, it doesn't have a capture option for the window I have. But it says 72 as the actual tempo it is right now. And whenever I type in 72 there, it says 60. So I'll sort that out later. But yeah, 72 feels a lot better, I think. Yup. So that makes it a little bit shorter, but that's alright. Let me make sure it actually reads 60 here, though. Yeah? For whatever reason. Right, so a couple of things. Wanted to make sure that I added pedal markings, because I do want those to be sustained. I want it to be open so that all of the overtones and these big clustery things ring out, so it's a lot crunchier, I guess. The difference is slight, but it's perceptible. You can't even tell on the midis, it just sounds more sustained on the midis, but there's a perceptible difference on a real piano when you have real overtones and whatnot. Okay, so I'm sure some of you have good eyes, and I'm sure some of you do not, but this right here is the same motif I had in the piano right here. And that's working over these chords here. So what it is I actually used something called axis theory. Axis theory is really neat. So basically, you have normal functional harmony. You think of the 4 chord as a subdominant. You think of a 2 chord in whatever inversion it's supposed to be. I can't even remember. 5 chord's dominant. The 7 chord is dominant. Things like that, right? So if you look at a circle of fifths, right? Think about it in the key of C, because that's usually how circle of fifths are illustrated, with C at the very top, right? So opposite C, you should have F sharp and A and E flat on the perpendicular axis. So everything that's directly across from each other is a tritone on the circle of fifths. Anyway, so if you go around the circle of fifths one at a time, so the fifth of C is G and the fifth of G is D, right? So there's actually a pattern to the circle of fifths for all 12 notes that you can use as chords as those 4 functions, even though they're not they're not diatonic. So the C is tonic, G is dominant, D is subdominant, right? Which means A is tonic, E is dominant, and B subdominant. So you can use this sort of to your advantage to come up with some cool things. And what I found is that B flat works as a dominant, I think. Let me make sure that's correct. Yeah, all the blues are in oh wait, I'm thinking in the key of C. I'm in the key of G, which means the B flat is another tonic chord. Some people disagree with that. I know 12 tone does. That's actually where I learned all the axis theory stuff from, and then marked up my circle of fifths with the axes. You can see it as I think it was either a tonic chord or like I forgot what the other quality it could be is, but I just think of it as a tonic chord for the sake of axis theory, so you can come up with this sort of thing. Anyway, but it's gonna, when I have the trumpet do it way over here, I want different chords under it. I don't want it to be the same chord pattern, so I gotta think of things that work over it. I still think I want this to be B natural. I think I still want the first note of the melody to be the second of whatever chord it is. So we're in 3/4 now. Let's just get a big B chord going on here. Not B7, just a normal. And then we have A, G sharp, E. So what do we think of an E major chord? Nice subdominant, or no, yeah, subdominant. Kind of a, I guess, an appositura, I think it is. And then we can have the E chord repeat itself, and this becomes E7 because of the notes in the trumpet. Better idea. I kind of want to tonicize E here, but I don't know how I feel about that being, because that's kind of what I'm hearing. Maybe it would be better if it had a 7 in it too. Yeah, I think it would be if I had just had a D natural right here. Yeah. And then back to a B major chord. And then I suppose it's roughly the same chord sequencing. Let's see if it works though. Not quite. It doesn't. It works here. But that's too much A. Way too much A. What if I went like that? Absolutely. That was just way too much A. You can have a sus4, but Jesus, it cannot be that much 4. Alright, so that works as a good sequence. Or should I go back to B natural here? I'm really trying to decide if I'm tonicizing B or E here. There's a lot more E chords than B chords. I really can't tell if I'm trying to go for a 1-4 motion or a 5-1 motion. Since... oh gosh. I really thought it was going to be a 1-4, but the ratio is off. Let's just see what it sounds like if I put it back on tonic here instead. Yeah, I actually think that might work nicely. Especially if I could have a 7 here to go up to the D sharp. That would make... oh, shoot. That would make some sweet voice lating. Absolutely. What if I also added a G sharp, made it a 6-9? And no, I don't mean the Skittles wrapper. I mean a 6-9 chord. And not... it's just a major chord with a 6th and a 9th, okay? It has nothing to do with that Skittle boy. Actually hate the 6th in there. I really thought it would sound nice as a drop down from that. But I do like the 9 in there still, so we're just gonna call it a 9 chord. Or it would be an add 9 chord, because 9 chords imply the flat 7th, which reminds me, let's try it. Actually, that's actually perfectly explainable, because then we can just carry over the A. So we're tonicizing B mixolydian here. Makes perfect sense. Perfect sense, right? Alright. Now it's time to come up with some dynamics. Also, what would it sound like if I left a pedal effect over all 3 E chords even though there's the half step between G sharp and A? I wonder, because it's so slow, that it might be cool. Yeah, because you get the ring of all the notes you want, and the ones that would normally be bothersome don't stick out too much because the length. Because piano is like a single attack instrument and the sound immediately tapers off, unlike a brass instrument such as the trumpet, where you can sustain like a trumpet. Alright. I need some water. Alrighty. Dynamics. We'll do dynamics. So, the previous section here is this Alright, that's actually a really nice callback, because B7 here... Oh, or the B9, rather. But here we have it on B natural, so we have it on the root instead of the fifth, which makes it more final, because it's perfect authentic as opposed to imperfect. I hear this note crescendoing, arriving at forte here, only to continue to grow. Not too far though. Not too far at all. To an accented fortissimo. I want this to kind of be suddenly softer, and then this stay crescendos. Now, the one other thing I don't like about the software is that it doesn't do crescendos and decrescendos on long notes. You have to imagine them or get your friend who plays trumpet to do it for you in real life. Or if you own a trumpet, you can do that too. I used to be able to do that all the time. I would do that now, but my brother uses it to play in the middle school band, and he is at school right now. I am not. Alright. Perfect. So this, typical phrasing, going to the 1 of every measure. That's how 3/4 goes. We'll do articulations at the same time here. Do I? No, let's see. There we go. Actually, it looks very unclean. We'll just let the software do it automatically. Kind of a callback to the beginning when we would do the 2-note pairs. Oh, you guys weren't here for that. I did that on my own. Yeah, here at the beginning, I had these 2-note slur pairs, and I think I did it later on too. Yeah, sort of these groups of 2. So there's another good callback, I guess. I'm not making very much progress today. It's kind of frustrating. I don't know what's going on. It's low-key writer's block coming back into my life. I don't need that kind of strife in my life, you know what I mean? That's okay though. Stay crescendo, start ear, back to mezzo piano. I wish there was such thing as like a negative accent. Like, well, okay, well if you consider an accent to be an emphasis on the beginning of the note, I wish there was something that's like an unemphasis on the front of the note, you know? Because that's kind of what I imagined for the restart here, as like an unemphasis on the start of the note as opposed to... But I don't want to put a lower dynamic level, because that's not what I mean. I want the note to kind of blossom, but I don't know. I don't know how to describe that musically with the notation we currently have. kind of soft through this section here, I guess. Guess we, for the sake of the MIDI, a real piano player would know better, but the MIDI does not know better. And that is okay. We just must tell the MIDI exactly what we want from it and be adapting to it forever. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And that's okay. Alright, so from here, I think trumpet, well, I don't know, because the trumpet hasn't played a whole lot in this new section at all. It started off with this piano thing. Really, they've had about an equal amount of playtime so far. So, alright, well, we didn't make too much progress today. It's a little disappointing, but we'll come back and get them again next time. So we'll just recap what we did so far today on the trumpet solo, which was really pretty much just this, I think. Alright, and that is the conclusion of today's music live stream. Shout out to my homeboy Smaguda, aka Caleb Edmonds. He plays the saxophone. He was actually my first vote through the whole thing. He voted that we do the alto sax trio, and he was the first vote, so shout out to him. He also commented during the stream, so thanks for supporting me. Peace out. See y'all later. Also, last time on the stream, I guess, I sort of cut it off early because the latency is stupid, so I have to wait for it to catch up.